Alright, you guys, so today we have our first college lecture. Basically what's going to happen during these is I will read off a lecture to you and then you will complete the checks for understanding, or the CFUs, as I read. I'll try to make sure to read the question off that I'm about to answer before I start to read that college lecture for you, so you can kind of have a tip-off of what you'll be looking for as you listen. In addition, you'll see that I'm going to be playing this video in the background. It is called The Spread of Buddhism between 500 BCE and 1200, which is perfect because that's the time period in question that we'll be talking about today. So this lecture is going to focus mostly on the spread of Hinduism and Buddhism in South Asia and India. And I want you to be sure, if you're a visual learner or if you just kind of want an idea of what the spread of these religions actually looks like in a given time period, watch the video in the background as you listen. I'll also put the link in our slide or in our Nearpod today so you can have access to that on your own. If you have any questions of what we've gone over so far, if you have any questions about how these religions spread and what trade routes have to do with them, please look at this video. It's going to help clear up a lot of things for you and it'll help you with the test that we have coming up. All right, so let's get down to it. Our first CFU, our first question is, what regions of Afro-Eurasia did Hinduism and Buddhism dominate? I'm going to read this lecture right now that will answer that question for you. And here we go. Hinduism continued to dominate in India. I apologize. Round two. Hinduism continued to dominate in India during this time, while Buddhism spread throughout Southeast Asia. Whereas Buddhism in China and Vietnam was typically a Mahayana variant, which emphasized the use of spiritual teachers, South Asia was largely home to Theravada Buddhism, which was more individualistic and less religious. More a set of practices than a set of beliefs. Alright, you'll notice that I'm going really slow with the pronunciation, and that's because I don't want to butcher these names, so I apologize if I do, if anybody knows how to pronounce them correctly. So the check for understanding question that you should have been able to answer from that was, what regions of Afro-Eurasia did Hinduism and Buddhism dominate? Go ahead and pause right here if you want to take a second to answer that. All right, we're back now. Our second check for understanding question is, how did this trade city establish and maintain power in the Indian Ocean? All right, here goes the lecture that should be able to answer that for you. Multiple trade kingdoms dominated the Indian Ocean trade as maritime trade accelerated due to advanced technology. These kingdoms were home to wealthy port cities and the spread and mixing of religions. One example is the Malay kingdom of Sri Yagaya, which grew rich of its command of trade in the Straits of Malacca. With ruler support, Sri Yagaya grew into a major center of Buddhist teaching. Again, the question that should have answered for you is, how did this trade city establish and maintain power in the Indian Ocean? Go ahead and pause right here if you need a moment to answer. All right, our third check for understanding question is, how did the Khmer Kingdom establish and maintain power? This lecture that I'm about to read to you should answer that question, so let's get to it. Later on, the kingdom of Mahathir emerged as trade patterns shifted. It united much of the Indonesian archipelago, established myriad trade relations through its access to spices, and during its rule, Islam began entering Indonesia. On the mainland, the Khmer Kingdom ruled over Cambodia based on its agricultural production. The rulers drew on both Hinduism and Buddhism to support their rule, and constructed Angkor Wat as a visible display of their power. Again, the question that should have answered was, how did the Khmer Kingdom establish and maintain power? Go ahead and pause right now if you need a moment to answer that. And our final lecture will answer the last check or understanding question, which is, how was religion utilized to establish power within empires and kingdoms? Again, that question is, how was religion utilized to establish power within empires and kingdoms? Here's the lecture that should answer that question for you. Islam also spread through the Indian Ocean trade, particularly near the end of the period. In particular, the Sufi mystical tradition spread throughout India and other places in South Asia through the activities of missionaries and travelers. I want you to go ahead and pause right now. You are more than welcome to rewind to any question that you might need. You are more than welcome to continue playing this video in the background so you can see a physical spread of Buddhism in South Asia and India during this time period in question, which is 500 CE to 1200 CE. And please, please, please be sure to add these answers to our live document for today. Again, you should have been writing the answers to these CFUs for the college lecture within your own notes today. You will also take the answers to your CFUs and add them to the live document where I'm going to put answers to CFUs for college lectures. Please be sure to type in those answers as well as having them in your notes. You will need this for tests that we have coming up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back in the near future. Good luck.